My name is BlueHead. It's November 5th, 2012. Please excuse my voice. I've contracted a chest infection during this recent storm event. No big deal, not terminal. I'll survive. I just have a different timbre in my voice because of this infection. Other than that, I'm just Jim Dandy. I published this morning BlueHead Chronicle, November 5, 2012, on HydroFracking, which is something that's very topical. And if you go to the news and politics section in YouTube, you'll see a series of BlueHead Chronicles. The first portion was an independent candidate platform, a construct for a third presidential candidate. It was just a construct. I did not register to run for office, nor do I want to, but I was trying to create a construct and venue in the abstract for a setting that included three candidates: a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent. Completely independent, because my perspectives embrace some of the basic tenets of both parties, Republican and Democratic. So I'm neither fish nor fowl. I'm frog. I don't know what the two are together. But the fact is, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm an independent. I will say that if you were to label me, which there seems to be a need for people to label us based on our political orientation and perspectives, I would probably be more conservative than liberal. But I do champion some very liberal causes. One of them is environmental quality, environmental preservation. And the reason I do that is because I spent my life, as you'll hear in a previous installment, I spent the last 35 years or so as a pioneer, along with some very talented people, more talented than I, without question, in their specific scientific discipline, in pioneering technologies to remove poisonous chemicals from the earth and from the sea. And in any form, they escape into the environment. My background and expertise, as I explained, I do have a formal dossier, a resume, a biochronology, so that if I were to be subject to an attorney's voir dire, he wanted to test my expertise, he could look at my resume and then question me on a technical level about how much I know and don't know about environmental quality remediation, environmental hazard and disaster remediation, which is something I've been doing, again, for 35 years, at the risk of being redundant. HydroFracking. I'm not going to spend time talking about anything else except HydroFracking and why we have to pay attention now. Who's going to do the HydroFracking? In the United States now, we're talking. You can go over to North Dakota and watch them do it right now. This is where our energy independence lies. In the shale rock, deep in the earth, trapped in huge reserves of natural gas and crude oil. The oil industry, oil and chemical industry, petrochemical industry, and its adjunct support technology contractors have developed technologies to get the gas and the crude out of this deep shale rock. Everything comes at a price. We have to weigh the benefits and risks between having energy independence and a pristine environment. Well, like I mentioned before in the previous chronicle, Mother Earth cannot be harmed by us as a species. It's only our arrogance that assumes we can hurt the Earth, because we can't. Your average volcano, Mount St. Helens, pick one that went off in your lifetime. The average volcano, when it erupts, creates chemical compounds of unknown relative abundance of other chemical compounds that we can't recreate. We can't synthesize the chemicals that come out of a volcano. They're so complex and so diverse in origin and genesis that we can't trace them back to how they were formed. This is a mystery of Mother Earth. We can dissect them with mass spectrometry and a bunch of other lab technologies, but the Earth has been putting up with volcanoes for a long time, a lot longer than you and I have been here. So if she can survive volcanic eruption after volcanic eruption after volcanic eruption in the last billion years or so, she can certainly survive anything we can throw at her. What won't survive is us, the species that inhabit this planet. We can't hurt the planet, but we can kill each other and the other animals we live with if we're not careful. And hydrofracking is one of the ways to do that. We can kill everybody by hydrofracking if we did it everywhere. Well, guess what? It's going to start happening in places you can see it now. Whether Obama gets in or Romney gets in, if we're going to become energy independent, we're going to have to tap our natural reserves. There's only one group of companies in the world qualified enough to do this, and those are the oil companies. And I'm going to pick two by name: Exxon and Mobil. Now ExxonMobil. Okay? I worked for both as a subcontractor, as a technology providing service provider when they leaked petrochemicals into the ground or on the ocean or on the inlets and in the estuaries. When they leaked chemicals, petrochemicals, anywhere in my region, I had a strategic alliance contract at the time with Exxon and Mobil for whatever geographic territory we had. There were a couple of other players, but I am among the few pioneers who had to figure out, after the Clean Water Act, how to get these poisons out of the ground. We had to figure it out. It was problematic. A tank leaks, a pipe ruptures, the chemicals go in the ground, they migrate vertically, they encounter all kinds of geologic structure, which modifies their behavior, their fluid dynamic behavior in the ground, and their distribution, and ultimately their receptor potential, what they're going to hit, what they're going to impact, what they're going to damage, species-wise, is something that has to be predicted, and we can do that with models now. But back in the day, in the 70s, we weren't modeling yet. Computers were really big. In high school, the computer I worked on in Fortran was about 6'6" and 5 feet wide and had reel-to-reel tape on it. So it wasn't very, it had about a tenth of the memory as the cheapest track phone you can buy in a grocery store. So in any case, hydrofracking. Basically what that means is the gas and oil are trapped deep in this shale rock. Shale rock is characterized as highly fractured, weathered granitic schist. I can give you the geologic name, origin, and how it got here. It's either sedimentary, igneous, or metamorphic if it's rock. All right, those are the three kinds of rock that we have in the United States. There's bunches of other subclasses. There's coral rock, there's chert, there's a bunch of stuff around the country geologically that you either do or don't need to understand. If you want to know, call me up and I'll tell you. And if I don't know, I'll give you the number of somebody who does. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of knowledge, more than I have. I just happen to want to share it with you. So here we are. We've got huge natural gas reserves in the Northeast, in our backyard. Right? This is our backyard. New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New England, Lower Canada. This shale rock holds a lot of crude and more natural gas than any place on Earth. That's why Exxon merged with Mobil, because Mobil Oil probably has the largest reserves of natural gas on the planet. Natural gas is a combustible fuel, hydrocarbon, that can produce energy. We're not used to it here. We're used to gasoline and natural gas in places, but not here in the Northeast. Natural gas lights our stoves here, but we heat our homes with fuel oil, which is benign, by the way. So we have this conundrum. We've got this poisonous substance that the earth creates, and we have to get it out so we can make fire and energy. Well, it's either go cold or get the stuff out of the ground, or depend on OPEC and those lunatics over there in the Middle East that want to kill us. Sorry, that's just the way they are. They don't like us. For whatever reason, they don't want us there. Okay, we got to take that into consideration. Some of them are okay with us, but a lot of them want to kill us. So I guess we shouldn't go over there too much anymore. I know it gets more complicated than that. And I'm rocking the boat here, but tough shit. I'm rocking the boat. We have to get this gas and oil out of the ground. We can do it safely. We can do it safely. If we let American oil companies do it, they will do it safely. And people like me will help them do that. They're good companies. They're American companies. They're what we have left, people. We don't make a lot of stuff anymore in the United States. We're starting to make more, but China's making most of our stuff. They made the thing I'm talking on. They made my phone. They made my computer. I'm talking physically now, not the technology, the hardware. All of it's made from crude. All of it. The phone in my hand, the computer I'm talking to, the TV I'm watching, the truck I drive, the boat I drive, everything comes from crude. The inside of my car, it comes from crude. But again, HydroFracking. We have to get this gas and oil out of the ground. How do we do it? Well, the simple answer is we drill down to its location as deep as it is, 500 feet, 10,000 feet, whatever it is. It's tough because of hydraulic or gas conductivity in this rock to govern its flow to the well. So we have to modify that flow. We have to keep the hole open at the same time. So we have to pump in a lot of poison to keep the hole open. Those poisons are exempt from the Clean Water Act regulations. So they get down to this area where the reserves are, and they light up a bomb. It's basically air or water, and they eject and fracture the rock so that it opens the pathways for the gas and oil to get to the wellbore. That's as simple as I can make it. They blow up the subsurface to get this oil and gas to the surface. And when they do that, the chemicals they put in and the crude and the other stuff that's down there ends up in our water supply. Watch Gasland. It's a documentary. HBO aired it. It's excellent. It'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. It's going to happen. It's going to happen here in the Northeast, right where you live. So if you're drinking well water, you better pay attention, because it could be your well next. If you're on public water supply, you're in luck. And that's where the answer is.